to a whole nother level. So here we go. We're excited, setting up webinar for YouTube so everybody could have the recording. And that's that. So today's topic, okay? Today's topic is gonna be the leadership table, okay? The leadership table. And I'm gonna break it down to you guys and explain to you guys exactly what the leadership table is, because I want you guys to think about the topics and how it's all aligned, right? The first day we talked about what we all need to know about leadership, and we broke it down and we understood that, you know, leadership is something that is difficult, but it's worthwhile. Okay, then we jumped into the 5 levels of leadership, which basically explains to us how it is that we need to be building the leaders within our organization, how we build those relationships, and how we get up in those levels. Okay, very key. Now, yesterday, which was Wednesday, we went over how to identify the leaders. Okay, the leaders that we want to bring into our organizations, the ones that are in, the ones that are outside, the ones that are willing, the ones that are able, and the ones that have produced results. Okay, now that we have those leaders, okay, now it's time to create a leadership table. Okay, and the leadership table is very, very important. Okay, because I want you guys to write this down. Who you are is who you attract. Who you are is who you attract. All right, and we got to understand that the leadership table, right, is a community of growth for future leaders. All right. The leadership table is a community of growth for future leaders. Okay. Because right now, basically, Mornings with Neno, I consider Mornings with Neno a leadership table. Okay. We're coming right now. This month of October is a leadership month. Okay. This is a month where I'm inviting all of you guys to the leadership table, and understand that, you know, who you are is who you attract. So I know who I am. So I attracted you guys onto this call. All right. I didn't force you guys to jump on this call, right? You guys got sent a link. You guys were like, you know what? I'm going to jump on. I attracted you guys here. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to make sure that each and every single one of you guys comes and gets a lot of value, right? Matt Rosa said he can't wait. We have a special guest next Friday that's coming in. Who knows, man? Who knows? It might be Matt. Who would like Matt on Mornings with Neno? Type of one in the chat box. He says he's ready. He's ready to come in and bring a lot of value to people, right? Be ready, because next Friday, woo, it's going to get real, right? It's going to get real. So understand this, and I want you guys to write this down. A true leadership table is a place where anyone with the desire to lead and the willingness to learn can sit down and become a part of your leadership team. Okay, let's write that down. All right, I'm going to define what the leadership table is to you guys right now. All right, let's break this down. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. On my side is lagging a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know if it's lagging on your side as well. It's freezing, right? Yeah, I feel it on my side. I think it's good now. Yeah, it is good now. All right, so a true leadership table, all right, let's talk about it. A true leadership table is a place where anyone with the desire to lead and the willingness to learn can sit and become part of your leadership team. All right. So that's what the leadership table is. So you got to ask yourself, as a leader of your organization, do you have a leadership table, right, where anyone with the desire to lead and the willingness to learn can sit and become a part of your leadership team. But remember, you can only help others as much as you're helping yourself. Okay, so are you becoming that leader that wants to help others? Are you taking the time every day to actually grow as an individual? Okay, because understand, guys, there's something called the law of the lid, which basically states that people can only grow as much as you grow. So if you're not growing every single day, then yes, you might not be growing, and yes, you might be putting a lid on yourself, but you're also putting a lid on everyone else around you. Because there's people that are looking for you to guide them, to show them the way, to lead by example, to help them get rid of their bad habits, to help them get rid of their distractions. So if you are planning to be a successful leader in this world that we're in, you have to understand the law of the lid. And the law of the lid states that people will only grow as much as you grow. Okay, I'm grateful that the mentors within my life have placed a very high lid in my life because they've grown so much. I have so much space to grow. But if the mentors in my life were only making, $25,000, $50,000 a month, then that would be our lid, right? And it's not all about the money either. It's about their way to express their talents fully, right? It's about their connections with God. It's about their ability to be present in the moment. It's much more than just the money. It's a lot more of the internal work that they've done that has allowed us to be able to break through and see new levels. And I want you guys all to know that there has to be a very, very, right, investment in yourself. Today, while I was reading, I was reading something in my book today that really touched me. And this is what he said. And I want you guys to really write this down right here. He calls it the 2X, 3X mindset, right? Right. In the book I'm reading right now, he calls it the 2X and 3X mindsets. He says, to double your income and impact, you have to triple your investment in two core areas, your personal mastery and your professional capability. Okay. So in order for you to double your income and your impact, listen to this. In order for you to double your income and your impact, you have to triple your investment in two areas, personal mastery and professional capability. So yes, I know all of us on here will love to double our income and we will love to double our impact. Right? Type a 2 in the chat box if you want to double your income and you want to double your impact. You know what that means? Everybody that's typing a 2 in the chat box right now, that means you need to triple your investment of the deep work you're putting into yourself. You have to triple it. You have to triple the investment that you're making into yourself. And you have to increase your professional capability on a day-to-day basis. This is important information. So you want to double your income, triple your investment into yourself. Triple the investment that you're putting in on a day-to-day basis into yourself. And that hit me very hard because it made me ask myself, Neno, are you tripling your investment into yourself? Are you really taking the time to grow daily with yourself, right? So let's talk about the leadership table a little more here now, right? He says this, and this is true for Mornings with Neno as well. He says, not everyone invited to the table will become an effective leader. And inviting someone to the leadership table does not mean that he or she will always remain there. The table is meant to attract potential leaders and find out if they will become leaders. For that reason, you should make the table as large as you can manage so it can accommodate many potential leaders. And don't worry, the best leaders will separate themselves from the rest. Okay, listen to that. That's very important. That's what John C. Maxwell expressed about the leadership table. He said, not everyone invited to the table will become an effective leader. So not everyone on this call, we're hoping that everyone on this call can become an effective leader. We have thousands on the call right now, literally thousands. My goal is for everyone on this call to become an effective leader. Okay. The message is going to be heard by some, not by all. Only those that are ready to hear this message are the ones that are going to be able to receive this message. You can only receive what you're ready to hear. You can only receive what you are ready to hear. If you're not ready to hear this message today, you won't receive it. Okay? So he says, not everyone invited to the table will become an effective leader. And inviting someone to the leadership table does not mean that he or she will always remain there. The table is meant to attract potential leaders and find out if they will become leaders. So I'm creating this leadership table right here, okay, to attract potential leaders and find out if they will become leaders. Because you see, right now, what I'm doing with this leadership month is I want to find out who it is that I'm going to take with me on a retreat to an island somewhere so we can have a spiritual retreat and I can teach you guys the power of spirituality, leadership, morning routine, invite leaders like John C. Not like John C. Maxwell one day, but invite leaders like Matt Rosa to come out and speak. Invite leaders from all over big companies to come and spread word. So understand that this is a test right now. I'm going to see who the true leaders are. Okay. So he says the table is meant to attract potential leaders and find out if they will become leaders. For that reason, you got to make the table as large as you can manage, right? This table is huge. There's thousands at the table right now, right? But he says, don't worry. The best leaders will separate themselves from the rest. The best leaders will separate themselves from the best. And that's who I want to find out. I want to find out who the best leaders are in here, right? So let's talk about what happens at the leadership table, right? There's 4 things that happen at the leadership table. Four things that happen at the leadership table. All right. This is what you need to know. Number 1, people at the leadership table can experience a leadership culture. All right. That's the first thing that happens at the leadership table. 4 things that happen at the leadership table. All right. You got to make sure you understand this. All right. Very, very, very important. 4 things that happen at the leadership table. Number 1, people at the leadership table can experience a leadership culture. Okay. That's what it's all about. Remember, guys, people want to be a part of something that they can brag about. Can people brag about being a part of your organization? Okay, because understand that this is what makes the leadership culture super exclusive and very powerful. Can people in your business be like, yo, I want to be a part of that? You brag about how cool it is to be a part of your team. When people when people are at their jobs, when people are hanging out with their friends, do they brag about your leadership table? Do they brag about the things that you're doing for them? Do they brag about the guidance, the mentorship, the wisdom that's being dropped? Okay. The reason why Mornings with Nano got so big was because people were bragging about how good Mornings with Nano was. That's why there's thousands of people on these calls. Guys, there's people from 5, 6 different companies here. How was it that it started in one company and it spread to 5, 6 different companies? Okay. How is it that it started in the United States, but we're in 20 different countries now? It's because the word spread, because I made this community, all right, worth bragging about. All right. And you guys were able to experience some amazing things here, right? He says, listen to this. He said, culture is like the wind. It is invisible, yet its effect can be seen and felt. Ooh. Let me repeat that. Culture is like the wind. it is invisible, okay, yet its effect can be seen and felt. Culture is like the wind. It is invisible, yet its effect can be seen and felt. And this is what he follows up with. He says, when it is blowing in your direction, it makes for smooth sailing. When it is blowing against you, everything is more difficult. If you desire to attract and develop leaders, you need to have the wind blowing with you, not against you. That means you must create and maintain a leadership culture. So if you want the leaders within your organization to grow, you must have an area in your business where the leadership culture is embraced. It is embodied and everybody loves it, right? Ask yourself, do I have a leadership culture in my organization? Okay. Are you talking about leadership on a day-to-day basis? Okay. It's so amazing because now that I'm understanding leadership so much more, I understand why leaders like Matt, why leaders like Jason Brown are the leaders that they are, because they always are talking about leadership. They're always talking about how they can improve as leaders. I see individuals like Matt who's going to church every Sunday and paying, to get personal mentorship and have access to inner circles so he can become a better leader for those within the organization. I notice all of those little things because guess what, right? He understands, all right, that if we go back to what he said, right? He says, when it is blowing in your direction, it makes for a smooth sail. But when it is blowing against you, it makes everything more difficult. If you desire to attract and develop leaders, you need to have the wind blowing with you, not against you. So when I see my mentors, when I see the leaders within the organization, growing themselves, when I see them bringing people together for us to learn from each other, us to develop each other. And right now, I'll be completely honest with you guys. Right now, as a leadership team, as a leadership group within this team and this organization, the wind is blowing with us right now. It's blowing with us. Now, I'll be lying if I told you that over the summer, it was blowing against us. Okay? It was blowing against us. Okay? But right now, we've made a shift. And the wind is now blowing in our favor. Okay. But now our jobs as leaders of this organization, okay, is to create and to maintain a leadership culture. But I love what Phoenix said in the chat box. Smooth seas don't make good sailors. Smooth seas don't make good sailors. It's the rough seas that make good sailors. And those rough seas that we had to go through over the summer have made us better sailors for where we're going next. Okay. And this is super important. Very, very important. He says this: organizations with a strong leadership culture depend on people for guidance and direction, not rules and policies. Okay. Organizations with strong leadership culture depend on people for guidance and direction, not rules and policies. Okay, we're here. Okay, and this is very, very important. Okay, these are some things that you guys got to establish in terms of values, right? At the leadership table, right? You gotta, as the leader of your organization, you have to establish this. Okay. And these are 4 things that you must establish within your leadership culture really quick. This still goes into what we're talking about on the leadership table, where people at the leadership table can experience a leadership culture, right? These are some of the values, all right, that you need to establish within your leadership table, right? Let's talk about it, right? Number 1 is, I value you. Do you value you? These are, all right. Do you value you? Okay. So a leader is in the organization, right? They're at the leadership table. I'm going to let Stephanie know, Stephanie, I value you, but do you value you? Okay. I'm also going to ask Stephanie, I value others. Okay. Do you value others? Right? These are the values within the leadership table, right? I add value to others. Do you want to add value to others? And last one is, I make myself more valuable do you want to make yourself more valuable? These are the 4 values that must be established at your leadership table. When you set, it's like the expectations. Before you even continue with the leadership table, you have to set the expectations. Okay. Hey, I value you. Do you value yourself? I value others. Do you value others? I add value to others. Do you want to add value to others? And I make myself more valuable. Do you want to make yourself more valuable? That is what's going to determine whether they stay at your leadership table or not. This is the first step to it. And I highly recommend that everybody that's on this call that has an organization, that you create a leadership table. And you know how many people you can create a leadership table with? 2 to 3 people. It don't need to be 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. You can start your leadership table with just 2 to 3 people. And the first thing you got to do is you got to start the culture there. You guys start the culture. You got to understand that. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, he invited a bunch of people to his room at Harvard and only a few showed up. I think it was only 4 people showed up. He built his culture and his organization and his whole entire company with those 4 people. So even if you have 1 person or 2 people, you can build a leadership culture. So we got to understand that, yes, you're going to invite people and some people might not show up, but go and build the business and go and build the organization with people who are ready to do it. He says, if they can't or won't answer yes to those questions, then we don't match up, and that's all right. It just means we should not work together. So if they can't or won't answer yes to those questions, then you don't match up with them. And that's all right. That just means that they're not ready to be at your leadership table. You got to understand that. This is very, very, very important. Okay. Key information. All right. Super, super important. And he also explains this. He also explains, if you already possess a leadership culture, that's fantastic. Keep emphasizing the importance of leadership. However, if the people in your organization don't value, practice, and reward good leadership, it won't become a part of your culture, and you'll have a tough time attracting leaders. Okay, so we got to understand that about the 4 things that happen at the leadership table. All right. Number 2, all right, people at the table participate in the dynamic of the table. Very important. All right. People at the table participate in the dynamic of the table. All right. And what do I mean by that? This is what he explains. He says, the dynamics of a small group gatherings where everyone is asked to participate are powerful. People discover new ideas, have their thinking challenged, and are prompt to apply what they learn and hold each other accountable for making positive changes in their lives. This is so important, okay? People at the table participate in the dynamic of the table. So everyone here is required to participate at the table. We don't want anybody to be sitting there quiet and not participating. That doesn't bring any value to the table, right? We all know we have people who are in our organizations that don't say a word, don't participate, don't show no love in the chats, don't reward people, don't congratulate people, don't welcome people. Those kind of people don't participate in the dynamic of the table. We keep them there. Yes, we love them. We still appreciate them. But in terms of a leader, in terms of someone who is willing to go out there and do big things, we need people that participate in the dynamic of the table. And, you know, Bynum asks, how do you prevent? In reality, the way you prevent is through, if we go back to the 5 levels of leadership, you got to go back and build that relationship with them level 2. Because sometimes they don't participate because they don't know that you care enough about them. If you make it a requirement, if you make it an expectation, hey, it is an expectation of mine that you participate every single day within our chats, within our groups and everything. That's what I expect of you as a leader joining my organization. Now that individual knows, hey, they expect me to participate, I will participate. And then what you do is, like he said, and each other are held accountable. So you got to ask them, right? You got to ask them and you let them know, Bynum, hey, if you're not participating, how would you want me to hold you accountable? You ask them that question. Hey, if I don't see you participating, what would be the best way for me to hold you accountable? Would you want me to call you? Would you want me to text you? What would be the best way for me to hold you accountable when I don't see you participating? Because sometimes people need that. That's so important, right? Because sometimes, you know, we bring these people into our organizations and sometimes we might go the wrong way about holding people accountable. We might hit them up, be like, yo, you're not grinding, you're not doing enough. But sometimes people just need a text message. Hey, I don't see you participating in the group chat, brother. I would love if you participate a little more. You see it, Born Rich, Melissa. What's the best way for me to hold you accountable if I don't see you show up? You got to understand that that's key information. So I'm going to read this back again. He says, the dynamics of the small group gatherings where everyone is asked to participate is powerful. Okay. Right now, I have a book club within my team. Okay. And everyone is expected to participate. Everyone, whether you know how to read or not, you're expected to participate. Okay. He says people discover new ideas, have their thinking challenged, and are prompt to apply what they learn. Everything we learn within the book, we apply. Not everything, but some of the things that we see, we apply. We learn so much about it. We discuss different ideas. We put things in place and we do some amazing things. And, you know, it's so important that we understand this. Okay. And in the book, he talks about setting those expectations. But you got to participate. That's the key. All right. We got to participate and we got to know this, right? Because what he teaches is this. Everyone, we must encourage, and this is something that we do on all of my calls, encourage everyone to act. Can anybody tell me what act means? Does anybody know? Let's see who's been paying attention on Mornings with Neno, right? What does act mean? Encourage everyone to act. Apply, change, and teach, right? After every single call, after every single book club, we ask everyone, what can you apply? What can you change? And what can you teach. This is something that each and every single one of you guys needs to be doing after every call you jump on. Every training you jump on, every book you read, every audio you listen to, you need to encourage everyone to act. ACT. What can you apply? What can you change? And what can you teach? Every mornings with Nano, after the call, you know what you need to be asking? Okay, what could I apply from what I learned on Mornings with Nano right here today? What can I change about what I learned? And what can I teach about what Nano taught today? Super important. Okay. Now, for my leaders that are on this call, right? How big of a difference has this made to your lives? Type it in the chat box. I know I have some of my leaders on this call, right? How much has that made a change, right? Look, my brother Jay Miles said huge, right? Venus, all the difference, right? Jess, big. Natalia, huge difference. Patricia, big time for Mikey. Okay, quantum leaps, another level, massive, full 360, major change, right? Effective learning, huge difference. It's everything. Next level. These are leaders that have taken this and they have really taken it to a whole nother level. He says, and what you do is, right, every day at the leadership table, you're going to do this. And what you do is for homework or for an assignment, you let people know, hey, I want you to know what you're going to apply, what you're going to change, and what you're going to teach. And then on the next call, you ask individuals that committed to act upon in the previous session to share how they followed through. So there's been many times where we've acted on a call and we were like, yo, okay, act on this. And then the next session, because we do it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So on Monday, we'll learn something and then we'll act. Okay. And then on Wednesday, we'll come back and we'll be like, okay, how did it go with what you acted upon? What did you apply? What did you change? And what did you teach? And how has it made an impact in your life? You know what that encourages? That encourages people to go out there and do what? Apply. Because remember, guys, knowledge is empowered. What is power, guys? Type it in the chat box. If knowledge is in power, then what is power? Applied knowledge is power. It's about what you apply. But the only way you can apply is if you act. The only way you can apply is if you act. So you got to sit there and you got to understand that. You got to make sure that your leaders are acting. And then remember what the leadership table is about. The leadership table is all about holding people accountable. All right. Hey, Paige, you acted on so and so and so on Monday. Now it's Wednesday. What did you act upon? What did you learn? Let's talk about it. Guys, listen to me. You guys got to really understand what I'm saying here. Okay. The dynamics of small group gatherings where everyone is asked to participate is powerful. People discover new ideas. They have their thinking challenged and are prompted to apply what they learn and hold each other accountable to make positive changes. So when we sit here, guys, and you take, for example, what we're talking about on this call, right? We're discovering new ideas on this call. Some of you will have your thinking challenged because now you got to take what you're going to apply from this, what you're going to change from what you learned today, and what you're going to teach from what you learned today. All right. You got to act on this. That's the key to this whole entire thing. And now we got to hold each other accountable. We have to. We must. So this is very, very important. Learn to do this with the leaders within your organization. Don't just give people assignments and not hold them accountable to what you told them to do or what you asked of them to do. I hold my leaders accountable. Hey, we said we were going to do so and so. Let's talk about it. All right. So very important. That was number 2. Point number 2. We got 2 more here before the call ends. All right. Number 3. Remember this. People at the table benefit from the power of proximity. Okay, people at the table benefit from the power of proximity. And I was talking with a group of people the other day. I remember I was sitting at the dinner table with my brother. Can't remember his name off the top. His name was Pablo. Was it Pablo? Yeah. He was on my sister's team, Janelli's. He was on her team. And I was telling him, I'm like, bro, you're at this table right now. All right. But there's been many individuals that have been at this table. Okay. The difference between those who stay and those who don't make it is that the ones who stay learn how to leverage the people that they're around. They learn how to leverage the proximity that they have access to. And that's something that I want you guys to understand is in order for you to stay at the leadership table, you got to learn how to leverage the proximity to successful people. Guys, I was able to teach myself how to make an extra $2,000 a month. And I didn't know anything. Look, guys, I promise you, I barely knew the business when I started this. But you know what I was really good at? I was really good at leveraging the people that did have the results. I see so many people complain, Neno, I don't have the money. Neno, I don't have the results. Neno, so on and so forth. And I hear all of these excuses and I'm like, only if you knew that I was in the same exact position as you. I didn't have the money. I didn't have all of these things that people are wanting nowadays. But you know what I did? I became great at leveraging the ones that did have the success. I never made it about me. I know I didn't have the money. I know I didn't have the results. But you know what I did know? I know that my upline, my mentor, did have the results. So you know what I became so good at? I became good at being the promoter to the party. My mentor is the party. I'm the promoter to the party. My mentor throws the best parties in the world. Let me tell you how good that party is. Let me get as many people as I can in front of my mentor. I don't have the results. I haven't made the money yet. I can't answer your questions, but I know my mentor can. Let me connect you with him. I was able to build a team of 100 people and make $2,000 a month just because I became a really good promoter to my mentor. And then I hear people complain, Neno, I'm not making money. Neno, this, Neno, that. I don't have results. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. Bro, become a great promoter. Become a great leverager. Become someone that is good in getting people in front of your mentor and let your mentor do the asking. When was the last time you called up your mentor and said, yo, I got 5 people that I want to introduce to you this week. Let's work. Some people are just expecting their mentor to hit them up and be like, hey, let's work. What? Yo, look, I want you guys to understand something really quick. My mentor is Matt, right? Matt loves me. He appreciates me. But Matt's not hitting me up every day like, yo, bro, put me in front of people. No. You know what I do? I call him up. And every time that I have someone for him, he never says no. Man, I got 3 people for you, bro. You ready to go? Yeah, bro, let's schedule it for Wednesday at 12 p.m. Wednesday, 12 p.m. We're there, bro. Yo, Matt, I got 10 people for an op call. I need you for a training. You gotta know how to leverage the people around you, guys. You have to learn that. You can make so much more money if you learn that. Now, I'm gonna teach you guys something that changed my life forever, and I live by this. Make sure you guys tag me on this when you put it on Instagram. You don't need to know all the answers. You just need to be surrounded by them. I didn't need to know all the answers. I just needed to be surrounded by them. And because of that, I've been able to make my life so much better. I went from being a broke student to being a rich student. just because I understood that I didn't need to know all the answers. The problem with so many of us and so many of you on this call is that you're waiting to know all the answers. But the thing is that all the answers are already around you and you're not knowing how to leverage them. So people at the table got to be able to benefit from the power of proximity. Right? Very, very important. All right. And then the last thing, number 4. So we can finish it up here. People at the table get to practice leadership. Write this down. Purposeful practice was the only factor distinguishing the best from the rest. Stan, you just got yourself kicked out of here, brother. Sorry to tell you, family. But we don't promote links in here, bro. And I don't respect that, bro. I've said that multiple times. So you just got yourself kicked out. Bye, Stan. I'm not playing those games anymore in here, guys. This is a leadership culture in here. We're not here to be promoting other links. So you just got yourself kicked out, bro. I'm sorry. And just know for the next time. All right. So understand that people at the table get to practice leadership. Okay. Purposeful practice was the only factor distinguishing the best from the rest. So we got to come on here, guys, and we got to understand that it has to be purposeful practice. You got to practice every day. And remember, it's the practice that you do in private that will determine the success that you have in public. All right? The practice that you do in private will determine the success that you have in public. Okay, so you got to practice leadership in private. And it'll tell you what you want in public. So those right there are the 4 things that happen at the leadership table, right? Number 1, people at the leadership table can experience a leadership culture. Number 2, people at the table participate in the dynamic of the table. Everyone is acting, everyone is applying, everyone is doing what's required of them. Number 3, people at the table benefit from the power of proximity to great leaders and great people, and people at the table get to practice leadership, guys. Those are right there, the 4 things that happen at the leadership table. All right, family. With that being said, if you guys got value from today's call, type some 444s in the chat box. Go out there, create your leadership table. All right. Find 1 or 2 people to create that leadership table with, guys. And you know, I want you guys to know, I don't mean to be mean or anything, but I have to have respect for other leaders that are in this organization. That's why we can't promote links in here, because there's different organizations, different companies, and I can't have people joining random links that are in different teams, because leaders trust me with their organizations. So if you're caught posting a link in here, you will get kicked out immediately, and I don't want you on these calls anymore. Okay, fam. So I appreciate you guys so much for taking the time to jump on today's call. Maybe we can get a quick prayer in here. Let me just pause everything before we go. Let's see if we have time for a very quick prayer.